I would find myself walking, like bumping into people. I'm just like right, right, left, right. It's like a little video game.
Gamification is turning an experience that is not a game into a game. So giving it all the elements of a game, things like points that say you have done this well. You know, like when you're playing a slot machine, the machine will tell you when you've won with ringing bells and flashing lights. And a lot of the apps we use now have elements of that built in, even when they aren't really about games.
We have some of these almost game-like elements where you almost feel like you're being rewarded. It kind of works like a slot machine where you're excited to see who the next person is, or hopefully you're even excited to see, did I get in a match, and get that it's a match screen, and that's a nice little rush.
You get a match on Tinder and your screen just pops. It's this huge like visual stimulation. It's super bizarre. And that's got to be intentional. Like, it feels good.
Ooh, you know.
I had several classes in college where we learned about this, from my business management courses to psych courses. I think, if I remember, it's called the variable ratio or intermittent reward schedule or something like that, where it's the having unpredictable yet frequent rewards is the best way to motivate somebody to keep moving forward.
There's a very famous experiment run in the early 1970s with some white pigeons, and the pigeons learned to peck a little light, and when they pecked, they got food. And so these pigeons live in a box and they just keep pecking the light and they get food. But the experimenter had a couple of different ways of rewarding them. So some of them, every 10 pecks, they got a certain number of food pellets and then they ate. And others, every 10 pecks, sometimes they got food and sometimes they didn't. But it turns out that the pigeons that gambled, that effectively pecked but may not get a reward, they were the ones who were much more engaged, even to the point where they weren't hungry anymore. They'd peck because it was just fun to play the game. So, you know, in the same sense, these apps that give you this kind of variable feedback rather than consistent, predictable feedback, they have this built-in mechanism for being addictive in the same way that a gambling device is addictive.
There is a good example of how you can move from the pigeon to the human case, because one of the schedules which is very effective with rats or pigeons is what we call the variable ratio schedule, and that is at the heart of all gambling devices and has the same effect. The pigeon can become a pathological gambler just as a person can.